So my name's Ty Lynch and this is my demonstration speech. When you think about fish tanks, what's the first thing that comes to mind? Are you thinking about that crystal clear aquarium that's in your dentist's or maybe doctor's office? Or are you thinking about that grungy green tank that sits in your friend's basement, never gets touched? Well, the main difference between those two is simply maintenance. Uh, the main point in maintenance is just changing the water in your fish tank, and that's what I'm going to demonstrate to you guys today. So the first thing that you want to do is make sure that you have all your supplies. I highly suggest laying a towel down so that any water that you drop gets sucked up by that and you're not ruining your floors. Having two 5-gallon buckets is really handy because you can use one to have your new water in and one for your old water that you're taking out. You do want a siphon, and this is actually an aquarium siphon. It's got a pump to help it get started and a filter on the end, but any garden hose or car siphon works just fine. You're also going to want some kind of water conditioner, and what this does is actually removes the chlorine and chloramine out of your tap water, and that's unsafe for fish. So you gotta have this guy, that's a must. And if you run live plants in your aquarium, you do want some sort of fertilizer for your plants. This definitely helps them grow to be big and strong. Um, and so let's just go ahead and jump right into it. Before you start taking water out of the aquarium, you have to make sure that you unplug the filter that's in the back. So let's go ahead and do that right now. I apologize if my back's turned to you for some of this. Excellent, there we go, easy enough. We're just going to move our light back so that we have access to the tank. And you want to take your siphon, just put it on in there, give it a few squeezes, and bam, there we go. Now, normally what I like to do while this is draining is just go ahead and take any kind of scrub brush or sponge that you have. I just recommend using one that you only use for your aquariums because you don't want to get any kind of bad bacteria in there. And you just go ahead and scrub the walls. The algae that grows on the tank is actually very beneficial for any fish that you keep in here. It's just not so pretty to look at, so you want to get off some, but you don't have to be real meticulous about it. We're just going to give it a few scrubs here. Nothing too crazy. My shrimp love this. They like to jump all around on my brush sometimes. It's great. Okay. Looks pretty good to me. Now, according to aquariumcoop.com, changing about 30% of the water is what's most beneficial. It's going to keep the stress on the fish at a low level, but you want to make sure that you change enough water that you're getting their waste out. And that's the entire process for it there. You want to make sure that your fish have nice clean water, but it's got to match that bacteria that's in there. And that, well, we might let it go for just another minute. Excellent. So that looks like a wonderful level. We're going to go ahead and take that out and make sure we get all the water out of the siphon so it's not all over the ground. And so what you're going to do, I like to use this Fritz water conditioner because it really only takes one squirt for about 10 gallons, and that's all this aquarium is. But I usually dose one squirt for 5 gallons because you can't really go overboard with this stuff, and it's best to make sure that the fish are safe. So there we go. And the next part is really easy. You just take your pitcher or any kind of water glass or anything really that can lift water. You just don't want to do too big of quantities at one time. So just go ahead and get started with it. And when you put it in, if you have any kind of rocks or sand or gravel on the bottom, it can be really easy to disturb that or uproot your plants. So I just put my hand down in here like so and pour the pitcher right on top of my hand, and that makes it so it just spreads it out. It's not going straight down, but it's pushing the water out. Let's do this a couple more times. Excellent. It's filling up nicely. And I would highly recommend while you're changing water in any fish tanks that you're in clothes that you don't care too much about, because this can get a little bit messy sometimes. And you're certainly, you should always plan to get just a little bit wet. There's no way around it. Excellent. And it looks like this pitcher should do it. Yep, that's about a perfect level. I like to go just so that the water line is not visible. I think it looks neater, but it doesn't actually matter too much as long as your filter in the back isn't sucking any air. So let's go ahead and plug that guy back in. All right, and it's started up. So that is how you change water in a fish tank, and it can be really quick and easy, just like I showed you. And that is actually the basic maintenance for your fish tank in general. You really only have to do that about once a week. So thank you guys so much for watching. And if you have any questions, please feel free to throw them down there for me, and I'll be answering them. Thank you.